There's a story that explains all of history's mysteries, out of place artifacts, megalithic builders, all this stuff. And I'm in the middle of that story. If you're just joining us, I suggest you go back and start from the beginning because you're going to be out of place, just like those artifacts. While I was looking on eBay, what I did realize was, oh my gosh, some of these copper nuggets happen to also be in these same general shapes. What the hell? These are supposed to be like natural float copper or, glacial whatever. Uh, I don't even know. Like, they're supposed to be natural. And they're not. They're not because they're matching these shapes. And I've already kind of determined that these shapes are man-made shapes. So does that mean that some of our minerals are man-made or not natural? Like, what does that mean? It didn't make any sense. So I started buying some of those too and getting some of those examples. One of the big revelations that came from this fossilized dragon head thing was that it's a feathered dragon, and there's a very clear feather underneath some of that concretion, and pretty much this thing is a missing link, so to speak. Well, I thought all that was pretty interesting in itself, and I was already thinking about telling the world and making a video and doing whatever, but I go on this hike and essentially find a megalith. So I was out on this hike, unrelated, just doing my business as a human, and I walked by this boulder, and it just, I don't know, it just felt familiar. It's like one I'd seen before, and I start looking at it, and it's like, wow, that eye really looks inlaid. It's nice and square. It looks like a cut mark, just like I'd cut it with a circular saw or something. So when I found that thing, I immediately bust out, Google Maps and start looking from above, and the first thing I noticed was that area seemed to be pretty squared off, and this megalith is actually on a hillside close to the ancient Taze River Valley. And this river valley flowed in the last ice age, and it was something catastrophic happened to make it stop flowing, and it's essentially redirected and is now the canal which goes to the Ohio River. So I look at maps, and then there is what seems to be, it's like a harbor. It's kind of like right angles. And the other thing to note in that area is that there's an ancient water line in all these hills. It's like, at every elevation there's a step in it where it just essentially, the ancient water, kind of washed up against the shore, and this megalithic head happens to be above it. It's above that water line. So it kind of makes sense that that area could have been like some kind of harbor. While I was looking at that harbor area, I started thinking, I should probably look at other areas, and I start scanning the hills, and I begin to see some weird stuff, honestly.